What should I do? Well, let's get a divorce. When I confronted my wife with evidence of her affair, she gave me an unexpected response. This is the result of punishing my overly cocky wife. My name is Hishi. I'm 35 years old. I work for a major company in Tokyo and I'm the manager of the sales department. To be honest, I'm not the type of person who is good at speaking English, and I'm not the type of leader who pulls people forward in front of others. I'm often told that I'm more reserved and a bit absent-minded. But there's one thing I can be proud of. That's that I was able to marry my beautiful wife, Rina. Rina is 3 years younger than me, with big, clear eyes. She also has an excellent figure, and people around her say she looks like a model. She has a bright personality and can get along with anyone right away, and she can be a little flashy, but I was crazy about her, including those parts. We met 3 years ago at a drinking party invited by a senior at work. I'm not usually invited to drinking parties, but I was pulled out to make up the numbers and joined, and that was the beginning of my fate. She was brought by a friend from another company. The moment I saw Reina that night, I felt a shock that made my chest tighten. I instantly fell in love with Reina at first sight. After that, I contacted Reina many times, even though I thought it would be impossible, and I kept asking her out even though she rejected me many times. Looking back, it might have been kunagata. But maybe my persistence got the better of me. One day, when she replied, "Okay, just once," I felt like I was in heaven. Then a miracle happened. I was able to date Rina. A while after we started dating, I found out that Rina was pregnant. I was surprised, but strangely, I wasn't worried, and instead I was more happy. The fact that I could be with her and have a baby, and become a family, was the greatest joy of all. We got married. After we got married, Rina became a full-time housewife, and I worked outside to support the family. When my daughter Mana was born, I learned the feeling of loving someone unconditionally and from the bottom of my heart for the first time in my life. Her small hands, her small voice, her innocent smile. Mana was everything to me. So no matter how tired I was from work, I would do the housework and childcare. I would make milk, change diapers, and even if I was woken up in the middle of the night, I would be the first to get up to let Rina rest. Naha wasn't a bad mother at all. No, in fact, I think she loved Mana. However, there was a part of her that wanted to prioritize her own time rather than putting all her energy into childcare. Then, when Mana turned 1 year old, she said she wanted to put her in nursery school. Huh? Nursery school? I'm a full-time housewife, so Rina can't take care of her. Actually, I want to go out to work. But I talked to my senior at my previous company about part-time, not full-time, and they said they were looking for part-time workers for simple clerical work, so if I could go back, it would be perfect, and I want to be connected to society. That's right. I didn't realize that I was thinking that way. I see. If that's the case, let's look for a nursery school. Yes, thank you. When Rina says something, I have to follow her every time, so I readily accepted her opinion. And when Rina started working part-time, her demands became more and more intense. Hey, I have a reservation for today, so please pick up my daughter from the nursery school. Is it okay if I get delivery for dinner today? I'm tired. I told you to tidy up. I haven't taken out the trash and I haven't done the shopping, so I have nothing to eat. I did whatever she asked me to do. I knew that if I complained, she would get angry, and more than anything, I didn't want Rina to hate me. Well, to put it bluntly, it's a weakness of being in love. We've been married for 1.5 years. Rina is the power in the household. If she says it, I'll swallow anything she says. But I was still satisfied. I was grateful to my wife for giving me the treasure that is Mana, and more than anything, I thought it was a miracle that she chose a man like me. To be honest, I somehow realized that Rina chose me because she knew that I would listen to everything she said and make a good living. My colleagues sometimes made fun of me. They said, "You're completely bossed around." But I just laughed and brushed it off. I don't mind being bossed around. It's fine if my family smiles. On holidays, the three of us would go on picnics at a nearby performance, or go to the shopping mall to look at children's clothes, and our time passed peacefully. Lena still liked flashy clothes and would go out with perfect makeup, but I thought that was also her personality. Sometimes Lena had a bad mood. If I spoke even a little, she would say, "Then you don't understand how hard it is for me if you do it yourself." She would take it. But that was also due to the stress of the third year and the fatigue of raising children. I also had a job, so it couldn't be helped. I had decided that if I endured, we would live. If I endured, our family wouldn't break up. I told myself that and kept the balance. When I saw my daughter's praying face, I felt that I would go through any hardship to protect this little life. I would work, I would support the house, and I would endure. I believed that if I endured, this daily life would continue forever. But fate doesn't go as easily as I wish. At that time, I didn't know yet. What was going on behind Lena's smile? It was a summer evening when I noticed that Rena was acting strangely. That day, I finished work early and went home. By chance, a dinner with a client was cancelled, so I thought it would be a good idea to have dinner together as a family. Rena didn't have a part-time job that day. I bought Rena's favorite sweets at the convenience store, and prepared some yogurt with Mana's favorite character on it, and opened the front door in a jolly mood. "I'm home." "Oh, it's me. Rena-san." She just went out to go to the beauty salon. My mom greeted me while watching TV with Mana. "Why, Mom?" "Well, I happened to make too much food, so I contacted her to say I needed some food, and she said she wanted to take a break, so I told her to come out." "Oh, I see. I'm sorry. Thank you. My parents' house is a few train stops away, so I go out quite often. Rather than my parents coming over to my house, they often share their food with me, so we're able to maintain a good distance. I'm also glad that Rena relied on my mom. But just the other day, she said she wanted to survive and left Mana and me for the weekend. And that day, Rena ended up coming home just before 10 p.m. I thought it was late for a hair salon, but I didn't think about it too much. Rena is particular about beauty and her butt, and I understood that she needed time to refresh herself from the stress of childcare. However, since then, Rena's outings have become more noticeable on days other than part-time work. Today I'm having lunch with a friend. My high school classmate is here, so I'll meet her for a bit. I might be late because I'm having a takoyaki party at my mom's house. There were various reasons, but anyway, Rena's time at home was decreasing. As a result, childcare fell more and more on my shoulders, and balancing work and housework was draining my physical and mental strength. But I couldn't say it. Stay at home a little longer, help me take care of Mana. I felt that Rena would hate me if I said such things, so I couldn't say them. More than anything, I was afraid of the atmosphere at home becoming bad, and more than anything, I hated the idea of it breaking up. But one night, I had fallen asleep on the sofa in the living room, but a noise woke me up. I looked at the clock and saw that it was past 1 a.m. I heard a small sound of the door lock opening. It was Lena who had returned home. "Welcome back. You're late." I said this in a sleepy voice, and Lena flinched for a moment, but quickly regained her composure. "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I got a little carried away and woke you up." The smell of her perfume at that time was sweet and strong in the night. Was it a different brand than usual, or was it that she was wearing too much? I felt a tingling sensation in my chest. "No, that's fine. Where did you go with your friends?" I mustered up the courage to ask, and Lena frowned slightly. "Why are you asking me that? It's fine. I just went to eat with a friend. Do you have any complaints?" "No, I don't have any complaints. It's just that it's this time of day, and I was a little worried." "What's that? Worrying means you don't believe me? Do I not trust you that much? What are you trying to say?" I couldn't say anything more to Rena, who suddenly raised her voice. I just bowed my head and apologized so that the room where Rena was sleeping would not hear. After that, she was cold towards me for a few days. Before, she used to be cheerful in front of Mana, but recently, even when Mana was there, she only played with her smartphone and gave random love bashing. Conversations with the family also decreased dramatically, and Rena had become self-centered and never let go of her smartphone. I tried to avoid conveying this feeling to Mana by going to the park or going out as much as possible and spending time with her. Fortunately, Mana was always in a good mood. One day, while living like that, Rena's smartphone, which had been left in the bathroom, rang. The notification displayed the name Iida-san. At that moment, I was hit with a feeling that my whole body froze. Yes. It was a name I had heard somewhere. If I recall, it was the name of the man who Rena had said was a very caring senior at the company where she worked. I'm sure it was him who had told me about her part-time job. Why did he go out of his way to come on a day off? And a bad feeling spread through my head in the middle of the night. I couldn't believe it. I felt a sharp pain in the back of my throat. In my head, I tried to tell myself that no, that must be wrong, that it must be a misunderstanding. My chest was tight and my heart was beating faster and faster, but the reality did not disappoint me. A few days later on Friday, there was a company drinking party. I usually refuse, but the reason I participated was because I wanted to change the time I get home. I left the drinking party halfway through and hurried home, but the lights were off and my shoes were not at the entrance. Then I received a message on my smartphone saying, "Today, I'm going on a trip with my mom friends and staying overnight. I've asked my mom to take care of me." Quote, I hadn't heard anything about plans to stay overnight. Is there a trip like that suddenly? Something is wrong. I couldn't help but check her social media. Rena used to post on Instagram a lot, but recently her posting frequency has obviously decreased. Instead, her account was locked and private. Maybe there's something she doesn't want me to see. Anyway, I prepared to stay and headed to my parents' house. I'm sorry. I ended up having to leave Mana with them so suddenly. Rena contacted me a few days ago. But did you know? Seriously? Yeah. I just found out when she contacted me. Rena, you're treating me the same as before, but are you okay? I shouldn't be saying this, but Na has been asking me to look after Mana a lot lately, so I'm really sorry. I'm sorry for worrying you. But I'm okay. I went to bed with an indescribable feeling. Looking at Mana sleeping soundly next to me, it's fine because she's still at an age where she doesn't understand things, but as she grows up, she'll definitely have doubts about her mother. Thinking about it, I felt that I couldn't go on like this. The next day, Mana and I returned home and Rena came back in the afternoon. I'm back. It was fun. Thanks for Mana's small meal. Yes, I contacted my mother beforehand. Oh, yes. Because I had to ask her to take care of Mana. I see. What? Was something wrong? If so, you should have said so clearly. She yelled and got upset, so I managed to calm the situation down and ended the conversation. And that night I decided to peek at her smartphone for the first time. She is a deep sleeper and once she falls asleep, she doesn't wake up easily, so I waited for the opportunity when she was sleeping and succeeded in guessing the unlocking pattern and opening it. And the line exchanges I had seen. There were many dense messages with a man named Hida. The hotel yesterday was great. That was bad. I'll meet her right away. Next time, let's meet on a weekday during the day. Reina's husband won't notice anyway. I couldn't stop my hands from shaking as I held the smartphone. My heart hurt. I couldn't breathe properly. It was getting dark before my eyes. Reina had cheated on me. And the other person was Iida, who worked in the same company. Moreover, they met several times a week and had sex many times. The irrefutable evidence was compiled in a photo folder called Iida-san. There were photos of the two of them together, as well as photos of them kissing and having sex, and I felt sick. I can't believe she was cheating on me with such a frivolous-looking man, leaving her daughter behind. I noticed that she had been wearing sexy clothes to her part-time job recently, so it made sense since the person she was cheating with worked in the same company. I was devastated by this reality. Why? What did I do wrong? No matter how much I tried to think of the answer, I couldn't find it. The only thing I knew for sure was that I could never go back to the way things were. Something important inside me had crumbled. I had done so much for her because I was in love with her, but I couldn't forgive her cheating. And I didn't want such a dirty woman to touch my beloved daughter. I made up my mind, transferred all the evidence of their affair to my computer, and thought long and hard about how to punish them. My heart was hurt a lot, but I was able to act because of Mana. I decided to stand up for her. The next day, I started to gather more evidence. I waited in ambush at Reina's company, followed the two of them, took photos and videos of them going into a love hotel, and after they broke up, I followed Iida and found his house. After that, I searched for his personal information instead of the internet. Iida was a flashy guy just like he looked, and he posted photos of him drinking with friends on social media, as well as photos and information about trips with his family, so I was able to quickly get his wife's contact information. After that, I consulted with a lawyer and my parents. I steadily made preparations to divorce Reina and get Mana's attention. And about a month later, I went back to work. Still in my suit, clutching a document cover, I stood in front of the office where Reina works. The lights were already off in the office room visible through the glass, but there was a dim light in the break room in the back. Today was the day to settle things. When I saw the numerous pieces of evidence saved on my smartphone, the line exchanges, the hotel receipts, the selfies of the two of them, and the photos of Iida and Reina smiling side by side, my heart nearly broke. I'm sorry. Iida and Reina are still inside. I think they're still inside. A woman who seemed to be a colleague answered, and disappeared into the elevator without showing any sign of being bothered by my presence. I opened the door and walked toward the break room in the back, careful not to make any noise. From the other side of the door, I could hear Reina's laughter and a low, spoiled man's voice. Hiroshi is really a boring man. He's Kiyoshi and he's always doing housework and childcare, so I can't see him as a man. But you chose him, didn't you? I regret it because I got married and even had a child. I can't live with such a boring man forever. I opened the door. If that's the case, let's end it now. The moment my voice echoed in the room, the two of them shook their shoulders. His. Why are you here? Reina was clearly shaking. Her face took over, her mouth trembling. But the next moment she was smiling and crossing her arms. So you were peeking after all. Gross. Do you know what you're doing? I took out my smartphone and showed you the conversations between Ta and Reina one after another. The screen showed photos clearly taken in the hotel bed and leisurely conversations. There's no way to escape. Even the times we sneaked out of the office to meet are all recorded. Admit that you're cheating on me. Hey, Reina. Iida looked at Reina with a pale face. What are you going to do? That's right. Let's get a divorce. Reina changed her expression and said to me. Huh? What are you talking about? It's fine. I don't have any love for you. To be honest, the child was just a nuisance. I thought it would be fine if I could be with Iida. The moment I heard those words, something inside me collapsed with a sound. The child is in the way. What did you just say? Yes. It was about Mana. I never had time to spend with Iida-san. And the child is attached to you and your mother. Don't mess with me. I raised my voice. Rina was surprised and relieved her shoulder. I've endured no matter how much you bullied me. But I will never forgive anyone who says Mana is in the way. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Iida suddenly bowed his head. Deep enough to hit the floor. I'm really sorry. I knew Rina-san was married and had a small fortune. But I was lighthearted at first, but before I knew it, I couldn't back down, so I'm sorry. This is not a problem that can be solved by an apology. I have all this evidence. I'll make sure she pays the compensation. And I'll tell the company about this fact. Please. Please just spare me that. I have a family. I have a child. Iida grabbed my arm as if pleading, but I shook his hand off. You destroyed my family, and now you want to protect your own? That's too selfish. Is it because I raised my voice for real? Wait, are you really getting divorced? I was joking, I just said it a little annoyed. Rina suddenly changed her tone and spoke weakly. Of course I care about Mana, I was just lonely. Hishi, we can start over, right? If so, how do you explain this? I showed her another line exchange. There was a line of exchanges saying that if Hishi dies, we need to file for divorce quickly. It's a joke. Are you going to hurt people and destroy families just for the sake of a joke? That's enough. I've already arranged for a lawyer. The claims for compensation and serious petitions are already underway. The blood drained from Reina's face. You're kidding me, right? Are you really going to get a divorce? You'll pay for what you've done. At that moment, Rina collapsed to her knees. A few days later, a discussion was held with the lawyer, and Rina accepted the payment of alimony and the abandonment of her real sword. In addition, I explained everything to Reina's parents and asked for their cooperation. I'm sorry Rina did that. Hishi-kun, really. Gifu apologized profusely and finally became my ally. After everything was decided, Reina finally corrected reality. Crying to me. Hiroshi, please forgive me. It's impossible to leave Mana, isn't it? How I felt waiting for you to come home every day. But I still believed in you. You betrayed that. There's no place to go back to. Rina collapsed on the spot and cried. But my heart didn't waver at all. It was about 3 months later that the divorce was officially finalized. The procedure proceeded smoothly and Rina abandoned her real sword. We also agreed to the compensation claim for the meal tray through the lawyer. She was so quiet that she couldn't even speak. The last time she cried was on the day of the last interview. Rina never contacted me after that. Let's go, Mana. That day, I went down the stairs of the apartment, pulling a small suitcase. In my hands was Mana's milk set and her favorite stuffed animal. We started a new life together, Mana and I. The apartment we moved to was old, but it was sunny and there was a small park nearby. It was hard to take care of Mana alone, who often cried at night, but strangely, it didn't bother me. Look, it's Daddy. He's hungry. Okay, let's make some milk. I stopped reading about childcare and joined a group of dad friends on SNS. I now understand the pain of mothers who raise children alone. Rina has had nothing since the sun came out. She asked to meet me once through her lawyer, but I refused. How dare she say she wants to see Mana now after saying that? The emotions I felt in my soul were neither anger nor hatred. Just deep despair and emptiness. The pain of being betrayed by someone I believed in was not something I could easily express. But there was salvation. It was Mana's presence. The warmth of her smiling face as she stretched out her small hand to me melted my heart little by little. Hey, Mana Papa, I can laugh again. It's because you're here. One day, while I was sitting on a bench in the park, an elderly woman sitting next to me started talking to me. What a cute baby. Is your wife working? No, we're divorced. I'm raising it alone now. The woman opened her eyes wide and then gave a gentle smile. Yes, you're doing great. You're doing your best. The baby looks happy. For some reason, tears came to my eyes at those words. It was as if my heart was melting at the casual words of a stranger. At that time, Renana chose freedom. Not a family or love, but a way of life to satisfy her own desires. But I'm different. I chose just one small life. Thank you, Amana. I'll get stronger, Dad. Time passed. I had changed jobs and was getting used to balancing work and childcare. I got to know some of the parents through taking my children to and from the nursery school, and little by little I was able to smile again. One day, a nursery school teacher called out to me. Hishi-san, Mana-chan, you've become a lot brighter recently. You've started laughing a lot more than before. Is that so? Yes. Maybe it's because of Dad's smile. Those words made my heart warm again. I couldn't completely talk about the wounds of the past. But even so, I can move forward. I can walk with Mana, even if it's slowly. I was standing next to Mana in a park where the cherry blossoms were blooming. Every time the wind blew, my nose fluttered up. Dad, the flowers are beautiful. Yes, they're beautiful. Let's see them together again next year. Mana held my hand tightly. Just that filled my heart. All the betrayal, the hurt, the days of despair may have been for that moment. I won't look back anymore. I can't erase the past. But I can create my own future with Mana. From now on, we'll be together.
ただいま、レナ。と、俺はいつもの明るい声で言った。え？と嫁の短い叫び声がした。ひろし？ごめん、寝てたんだね。なんで？震えながら怯える嫁を見て、俺は冷笑した。俺の名前はひろし。私立大学を出て、地元の食品会社に就職し、営業を担当している30歳のサラリーマンだ。一つ年下のレナと結婚して3年目を迎えた。俺たちの間にはまだ子供はいない。レナとの出会いは仕事がきっかけだった。俺が担当している仕出し料理の店で彼女は事務員をしていた。彼女は小柄でぽっちゃりした可愛らしい外見が特徴的で笑うとエクボのできるチャーミングな女性だった。俺は彼女のことを気にはなっていたものの仕事上の会話や挨拶を交わす程度でそれ以上の進展はなかった。しかし3年前のある日、俺に転機が訪れた。俺の唯一の趣味は釣りで、週末の休みになると、泊まりがけで釣りに行くことがある。その日は、出発前に専門店に立ち寄り、釣り雑誌を買った。用を済ませて駅に向かうと、雨が降り出した。豪雨とまではいかないが、かなりの大降りだった。俺は傘を持っていたので、傘を差して駅まで歩いた。すると、駅の出口でレナの姿を見つけた。いきなりの大雨に立ち往生している様子だった。俺は声をかけようかどうしようか迷った。しかし、さほど親しくもない俺にいきなり声をかけられたら彼女は警戒するかもしれない。そんなことを考えていた。すると、彼女の方が俺に気づいた。あ、彼女は俺を見て小さく叫んだ。こんにちは。こんなところで会うなんて。彼女の優しそうな微笑みに俺はドキドキしながら、傘、貸しましょうか。と言うと、彼女は、 雨が止むまで駅のカフェでお茶しようと思ってて、お暇ならご一緒しません？と、ニコッと笑いながら言った。釣りに出かける時間が少々遅れても構わない俺は、いいですね。と彼女の提案を受けることにした。平静を装っていたが内心、ラッキーと叫びたい気持ちだった。緊張しながらも、レナとカフェで話すと、よく笑う明るい女性だと分かった。俺が思っていた通りすごく気さくで、俺の緊張感もほぐれていった。こんな女性がそばにいてくれたら、毎日が楽しいだろうなぁ。なんて勝手に考えていた。このことがきっかけで、レナと頻繁に会うようになり、自然な流れで俺たちは付き合うようになった。それから俺たちは交際を順調に進めて、1年後に結婚した。わびしい独身生活を送っていた俺にとって、新婚生活は夢のような日々だった。仕事から疲れて家に帰ると、レナの手作りの料理が並び、整然と片付けられた部屋でくつろぐことができた。レナは結婚後、仕事を辞めて専業主婦になるか悩んでいた。彼女は家事を優先したい気持ちもあったが、社会とのつながりがなくなってしまう不安があると言った。なので、俺はレナにパートタイム勤務を提案してみた。パート勤務に切り替えたレナは仕事をしながらも家事を完璧にこなしてくれていた。しかし、そんな新婚気分の生活は長く続かなかった。3年目ともなれば、結婚生活に新鮮味がなくなり、亀裂が入ったりするものなのだろうか。そんなことを思う日々が続いている。ある日、同僚の渡から飲みに誘われた。彼は同じ年の同僚で、入社当時から気が合い、時々一緒に飲みに行く仲だ。先日、彼と一緒に飲んだ時、俺、離婚したんだ。と言われて驚いた。渡は俺より1年早く結婚していた。相手は合コンで出会ったモデルみたいに綺麗な女性だった。結婚式にも招待されたからよく覚えている。その彼女と離婚したと聞き、俺はとても驚いた。離婚って、一体なんで？実はさ、浮気されてたんだよ。情けない話。事情を聞くと、彼女は SNS で元彼と繋がり、軽い浮気のつもりが本気になってしまい、元彼とやり直したい、と離婚を切り出されたという。なんか、ちょっと変だなって感じはしていたんだよ。変って何が？それがさ、ここ数ヶ月、やたらと俺のスケジュールを気にしてさ、俺の目を盗んで、真男と会うためだよ。俺は、渡の話を聞きながら内心動揺していた。実は、俺にも心当たりがあったからだ。レナはここ半年、俺のスケジュールをやたらと聞いてくるようになった。俺の休日は週末で、月に2度は泊まりで釣りに行く。ここ最近レナは、今週はいいお天気みたいよ。釣りはどうするの？なんて、俺のために天気予報まで把握して、俺の予定を確認してくる。かといって、他はいつも通りで特に変わったこともない。浮気をすると、スマホを肌身離さず持つとか、電話が鳴っても出ない、とかだが、そんなこともない。レナは、俺の目の見えるところにスマホを置いてるし、化粧が濃くなったり、帰りが遅くなったりとかもない。だから、俺はスケジュールを聞かれても、俺のことを気にかけてくれていると、都合のいいように解釈していた。相変わらず、うちは新婚気分だな。レナも俺のことが好きなんだろうな。なんて能天気なことを思っていたのだ。しかし、渡の離婚話を聞いて、少し不安を感じた。しかし、スケジュールを聞かれただけで浮気を疑うなんて。それだけでレナを疑うのは安易すぎないかと思い、疑う気持ちを打ち消すことにした。だが、それから数日後、思いもかけないことが起きた。朝、家を出て駅まで行ったところで、俺は腕時計を忘れたことに気づいた。いつもながら早めに家を出ていたので、戻っても十分に間に合う時間だった。アパートに戻ると、レナも出勤した後だったので、家には誰もいなかった。腕時計を探すと、洗面所にあった。ほっとして腕にはめていると、着信音らしき音が鳴った。レナがスマホを忘れていったのかなと、偶然の出来事に俺はクスッと笑った。しかし、スマホはどこにも見当たらない。鳴り続ける着信音に耳を澄ましてみると、台所の方から聞こえる。スマホは炊飯器の裏側に、まるで隠すように置いてあったので、手に取ってみると画面には純也と表示されていた。純也？誰だそれ。レナの話題に純也という名前が出たことはない。しばらくすると着信は鳴り止んだ。 俺は違和感に襲われ、スマホをよく見ると、レナのスマホではなかった。俺はスマホの裏側も見てみた。カバーの色が違う。レナのスマホカバーは白で、リングもついている。だが、このスマホのカバーは赤で、リングがない。誰のスマホだ？なんで、炊飯器に隠すように充電しているんだろう。ふと、渡るの離婚話を思い出した。俺は恐る恐るスマホを開いてみることにした。幸い、ロックはされていなかったので、簡単に開くことができた。着信履歴を見ると、純也だけがずらりと並んでいた。LINE アプリも開いてみると、純也とのメッセージのやり取りが続いていた。一瞬、これはレナの友達のスマホではないか、と俺は思いそうになったが、そうではないことが赤裸々に記されていた。レナちゃん、次はいつ会える？来週の土日、旦那が泊まりで釣りに行くから待ってるね。早く純也に会いたいな。純也のために美味しいご飯作るね。なんだこれは。俺は衝撃のあまり言葉も出なかった。レナが浮気。渡るの嫁と同様、レナも浮気をしていたということなのか。さらに遡ってチェックすると、浮気は半年前からだと判明した。相手はジャックというバーのオーナーのようだ。確かに、俺が泊まりで釣りに行くとき、レナは新しくオープンしたジャックに飲みに行くようになっていた。俺もレナを一人置いて、自分だけ釣りを楽しむのは気が咎めたので、レナがバーに出かけることには賛成していた。まさか、それがあだとなるとは。レナは巧妙に2つのスマホを使い分けていたというわけか。俺が出勤した後、こうやってこっそり充電していたのだ。だから、彼女はスマホを特に隠すこともなかったのだろう。俺は早速このメッセージをスクショして、自分のスマホに送信した。俺を気にかけるようなふりをして、スケジュール確認してたのも浮気のためだったとは。俺は、もう少しレナの身辺を確認することにした。夜、レナが眠ると、俺はクローゼットにある普段は使わない葬儀用のバッグを調べた。思った通り、例のスマホが、電源を切って隠してあった。俺はスマホをポケットに忍ばせ、そっと寝室を出て、トイレにこもってメッセージアプリをチェックした。純也、私たちのこと、婚約者のミカさんにはバレてない？全く問題なしだよ。さっきも店に飲みに来てさ、結婚式場の話してたよ。なら、大丈夫ね。レナの方は？全然大丈夫。何しろどんくさいから、うちの旦那。ひどいこと言うな。なんかもう、あの人に飽きちゃったのよね。こそこそやるから楽しいんだよな。刺激があって。でも、うまくやらないと。だって離婚されたら、パートじゃ食べていけないもん。俺はショックのあまり、スマホを持つ手が震えた。レナがこんな女だったとは。俺は、その晩眠れぬ夜を過ごした。翌日、渡るに相談することにした。おごるからさ、ちょっと相談に乗ってくれよ。独身に戻って時間も十分あるのか、渡るは二つ返事で OK してくれた。その週末、行きつけの焼き鳥屋で、俺は相談を切り出した。ヒロシ、お前の嫁もか。まさかの浮気。スマホを二つも持つなんて、確信犯もいいとこだ。嫁、やるな。いやいや、笑い事じゃないから。この前、渡るの離婚話を聞いた時にさ、そういえば、うちの嫁も最近、俺のスケジュールを聞いてくるな、なんて考えてたんだけど、まさか。渡るは驚きながらも、このまま泣き寝入りするつもりじゃないよな。と真剣な顔で俺に言った。もちろんだ。俺に答えるように、渡るが復讐計画について切り出した。離婚するだけなら、2個目のスマホに証拠はあるが、離婚するだけでは俺の気が済まなかった。レナは俺を欺いて浮気した上、俺のことを冷表したことは許せない。すると、渡るが何かをひらめいたような表情で、じゃあさ、俺が客としてバーに行って、探りを入れてみようか。と、グッドアイデアを出してくれたので、俺はその案に乗ることにした。翌日、バーに行った渡るから、早速報告があった。間違いなく、純也はジャックってバーのオーナーだったよ。これがまた、なかなかのイケメンでさ、俺も女だったら惚れてたかもなーってレベル。おいおい。で、年はいくつくらい？若く見えるけど、30前後って感じだったよ。店は共同ビルの1階で、 他にも数軒の飲食店が入っているらしい。渡の報告を受けた後、俺はレナに、レナ、今週の土曜日さ、一泊で釣りに行ってもいいかな。と言ってみた。すると、明らかにレナの目が輝いた。一泊で？悪いな。俺だけ楽しむばかりで。寂しいけど大丈夫。いつも働いてばかりだから楽しんできてよ。ありがとう。ヒロシがいないなら、私もバーに行ってこようかな。ああ、楽しんでおいで。俺は復讐の成功を祈って満面の笑みでレナに答えた。もう後戻りはできない。俺は機嫌がいいレナを眺めながら勝利を願う笑みを浮かべた。土曜日の朝、俺は釣りの準備を整えると、じゃあ行ってくるね。とレナに言って家を出た。もちろん、釣りは嘘だ。俺は駅前のビジネスホテルにチェックインすると、渡の情報を待った。深夜遅く、ようやく渡から電話があった。店はもう閉まったから、俺、今からそっち行くよ。わかった。二人は？ああ、二人は仲良く駅に向かったから、多分、お前のアパートに向かってるだろう。そうか。30分後、渡がビジネスホテルの部屋に来た。バッチリ、動画撮ったぞ。よく撮れたな。カウンター内では、純也と見られる男性がカクテルを作り、真向かいの席にレナが座っていた。二人は視線を絡ませ、時々いやらしい笑いを浮かべている。純也は手が空くと、レナの隣に座って腰を撫でている。レナの方も、純也にもたれかかったりしていた。他の客もいるのに、二人は頬を寄せ合っている。ねえ、純也、今夜も3時まで開けるの？ああ、なんで？私、もう待てないわ。相変わらずだな。でもそこが、レナちゃんの可愛いところなんだよな。純也、もうお客なんて追い出してさ、うちに行こうよ。そうだな。客も少ないし、閉めようかな。俺は最後までしっかりと動画を見ると、悔しさと悲しみで頭の中がいっぱいになった。だが、同時に憎しみの感情も大きくなり、復讐の炎は燃え上がっていった。だからこそ、俺はレナの前で何も知らないふりを続けた。レナは、俺が気づいていることには全く気づいていない。俺は、レナが寝ている隙にスマホをチェックしていた。相変わらず彼らは毎日 LINE のやり取りをしていた。まるで、学生のカップルのような幼稚なスタンプが溢れ。と思えば、肉体関係を匂わす過激なスタンプも使われていた。証拠集めだと言い聞かせながらも、怒りと呆れ返る気持ちとで気分が悪くなった。おはよう。ぐっすり眠れた。俺は昨晩の吐き気を封印して、レナに笑顔で話しかけた。ヒロシ夕べ、咳してたね。大丈夫？なんて返してくる。仮面夫婦もいいとこだ。そんな日々だが、最後に勝者になる日を夢見て、俺は耐えた。翌週も、渡は調査を続けてくれた。そして、驚く大収穫があった。なんと、渡は純也の婚約者である女性に接近できたと言った。渡は何度か通っているうちに、すっかりジャックの常連になっていた。何も知らない純也とも、すっかり仲良くなったらしい。渡の報告はこうだった。渡がいつものようにカウンター席で飲んでいると、一人の女性が入店してきた。彼女が純也の婚約者だったのだ。彼女は渡の二つ隣の席に座り、純也と親しげに話していた。彼女が帰ろうとして店の外に出たので、渡もトイレに行くふりをして外に出た。そこで、彼女に伝えたい大事な話がある、と言って渡は個人の名刺を渡したと言った。俺は、渡の話に興奮を覚えた。翌日、早速ミカさんからコンタクトがあり、俺たちは3人で会うことになった。日曜日の午後、大通り沿いにあるファミリーレストランで待ち合わせた。俺たちが先に着いて席で待っていると、ミカさんが姿を見せた。純也の婚約者のミカです。僕は渡の同僚で、ヒロシと言います。大事なお話って何ですか？ミカさんは、俺たちに向かい合って座ると、やや警戒しこわばった表情で尋ねた。単刀直入に言いますね。実は、純也さんと僕の嫁が浮気してます。え？そう言ったっきり、ミカさんはしばらく黙ってしまった。信じられないでしょうが。もしかして、レナさんのことでは？ レナをご存知なんですか？親しくはありませんが、お店で純也と噂になってると聞いたことがあります。やっぱり、そうだったんですね。ミカさんは、うなずきながら続けた。レナさんはお客さんのはずなのに、お金も払わないし、いつも純也と親しげでおかしいって教えてくれた人がいて。俺は、ミカさんの話を聞いて、渡るの動画を思い出していた。あんな様子なら、噂になってもおかしくないだろう。俺は今までの経緯をミカさんに話し始めた。彼女は俺の話を真剣に聞いてくれた。証拠の画像とか見ますか？と尋ねると、ミカさんはこくりとうなずいたので、スマホのスクショや動画を全部彼女に見せた。証拠を見終えたミカさんは、うすうす感じていたと言ったものの、かなりのショックを受けた様子だった。辛いお気持ち、わかります。僕もそうでしたから。悔しいです。ですよね。それなら僕たち、共同戦線を張りませんか？共同戦線？復讐するんですよ、あの二人に。ミカさんは、復讐という言葉に一瞬驚きを示したが、やりましょう。懲らしめてやらないと気が済まないわ。とまっすぐな瞳で答えてくれて、今から結婚式場、キャンセルしてきます。と元気が出たのか、少し微笑んだ。そして、ついに復讐の計画を実行に移す日がやってきた。レナはいつものように俺にスケジュールを尋ねてきた。俺は待ってました、とにやつきたい気持ちを抑え、次の週末、一泊で釣りに行きたいんだけど、いいかな？と彼女に嘘をつくと、もちろん、楽しんできてね。予想通りご機嫌な返事が返ってきた。俺たち三人は、駅前の駐車場に車を止め、純也とレナが電車を降りてくるのを待った。しばらくすると、レナの腰に手を回しながら、ふらついた様子で歩く純也が現れた。彼らは、アパートへと向かっているようだ。俺たち三人はアパートへ向かい、1時間ほど待機した後、突入することにした。俺は音を立てないように鍵を開けると、渡るとミカさんも後に続いた。玄関にはレナのパンプスと、純也のものであろう靴が脱いであった。足音を忍ばせて寝室に近づくと、二人のイチャつく声が漏れていた。そして、俺はついにドアを開けた。ただいまーレナ。と俺はいつもの明るい声で言った。え？とレナの短い叫び声がした。ヒロシ？ごめん、寝てたんだね。なんで？レナの声は震えている。だって、釣りに行ったんじゃん。いやなんか、天気悪そうだから帰ってきちゃった。と言いながら、俺は寝室の電気をつけた。部屋がパッと明るくなり、レナの布団がやけに膨らんでいる。あれ、どうしたのレナ？裸で寝てたのか？いや、レナは慌てて掛け布団で上半身を隠した。それともまさか、布団の中に誰かいたりして。俺は明るく言って笑った。まさか、そんなこと。レナの唇が震えている。ジャックのオーナーの、純也とか。掛け布団がまくれ、顔を出した純也がレナに怒鳴った。レナ！一体どういうことだよ！二人して俺をはめたのか！純也の表変ぶりに、レナは、違うわ！ごめん純也。私にも何が何だかさっぱりなのよ。と、俺に謝るより先に、ひたすら純也の機嫌をとっている。ジャックのオーナーの純也さんよ。この落とし前、どうつけてくれるのかな？すると、純也はベッドから飛び降りて、俺の前に正座した。すみませんでした。どうか、穏便に済ませてください。純也は額を床にこすりつけて、土下座した。たとえ俺がそうしたくても、そうはいかないと思うよ。純也は驚いて顔を上げた。そこに、廊下でタイミングを見計らっていたミカさんが現れた。ミカ？どういうこと？ミカは無言で二人の情けない姿の写真を撮影すると、どういうこと？じゃないでしょ？この状況なんて説明するわけ？違うんだ。ちょっと酔ってて気の迷いっていうか。情けない言い訳する純也に、ミカさんは、どうぞ、ずっと気の迷いしてなさいよ。私はあなたと婚約破棄しますから。証拠は十分にあるので、慰謝料も請求しますから覚悟なさい。ときっぱりと言い放った。そんな、俺に金があるわけないじゃん。ミカちゃん知ってるでしょ。だから？ああ、それと、 結婚式場もキャンセルしたから。キャンセル料250万だって。請求書が届くから確認してね。純也は言葉を失ったのか、口だけがあわあわと動いていたが、言葉になっていなかった。そんな純也に美香さんは、最後に一発ぶん殴ってやりたいけど、傷害罪で訴えられたくないからやめとくわ。と、勝ち誇った顔でその場を去っていった。美香ちゃん、待ってくれよ。純也が後を追いかけようとしたので、俺は引き止めて、こっちからも慰謝料請求するから準備しとけよ。純也は顔面蒼白になり、そんな、うちの店って大赤字で、俺、本当にお金ないんです。無理ですよ。とうなだれた。そんなことを俺は知らない。店を売ってでも支払えよ。と純也に言うと、肩をがっくり落とした。玄関で靴を履いた純也は、とんだ疫病神に引っかかっちまった。お前とはもう終わりな。と、レナに捨て台詞を残して去っていった。ひたすら呆然と固まったままのレナが、不安そうに俺を見上げる。私は、どうなるの？どうしたいの？ごめんなさい、ヒロシ。魔が差しただけなの。魔が差した？陳腐な言い訳なんか聞きたくない。離婚一択だ。そんな、離婚なんて望んでないの？ヒロシと別れたくない。この後に及んですがりつくレナに、俺と別れたくないんじゃなくて、ATM を失いたくないだけだろ。と言いながら、LINE のスクショを差し出すと、レナの表情が固まった。違う。こんなの本気じゃないわ。お願い許して。もうしないから。涙でぐしゃぐしゃになりながら、レナは必死に懇願した。そんなレナに俺は、お前の言葉は聞きたくない。あとは、弁護士を通してくれ。慰謝料覚悟しておけよ。と言うと、レナは震えながらただ泣いていた。うなだれるレナに、ミカさんは、責任取ってくださいね。私からも慰謝料を請求しますんで。と言い残し、玄関に向かった。渡るがミカさんを追いかけて、もう遅いから、車で送っていきますよ。と声をかけると、ありがとう。とさっきまでとは違い、明るいミカさんの声が響いた。みんなが帰って二人だけになると、ヒロシお願い、話し合いたい。と、レナがすがりついてきた。さっき言っただろ。お前の話を聞く気はない。私、どんなことでもするから、やり直してほしい。いつまでも懇願するレナを跳ねのけ、俺は荷物をまとめた。今夜ビジネスホテルに泊まるから、明日中に出て行けよ。すると、レナが泣きながら、そんな、行くあてなんかないわ。それに、実は、と何かを言いかけた。まだ何かあるのか。すると、レナはゆっくりと話し始めた。レナは、サラ金業者から300万円の借金をしていると言った。目的は、バーへの投資。純也が言った通り、バーの経営は大赤字で、仕入れもままならない状態だったのだ。純也にとってあのバーは宝物だったの。だから、彼を助けたかった。彼には才能があるし、今だけ乗り越えればって。何言ってんの？自業自得だろ。だから俺にすがりついて助けてって、そんな虫のいい話あるわけないだろ。俺はついに耐えきれずに高笑いしてやった。レナは、ようやく事の重大さに気づいたのか、高笑いする俺を見て、膝から崩れ落ちていった。意気消沈したレナを残して、俺はホテルへと向かった。結局、純也は資金源だったレナと別れたことで、経営を続けることができず、居抜きで店を手放した。しかし、慰謝料の支払いと、溜まっていた酒屋への付けを払うと、1円も残らなかったらしい。今は、夜間作業の土木工事の仕事に就き、分割で美香さんへの慰謝料と結婚式場のキャンセル料を払っていると、渡から聞いた。実はあの後、渡と美香さんは趣味が同じ登山だと判明して、二人は急速に接近したらしい。二人とも心の傷を負った者同士だし、幸せになってほしい。レナはというと、離婚届にサインすると家を出て実家に帰った。案外、離婚がスムーズに進んだので、俺はほっとし、肩の力が抜けた。実家に戻ったレナは、俺への慰謝料支払いと自分が借りたサラ金への返済で、どうにも首が回らず、昼間は知り合いの豚舎で餌やりと掃除の仕事、夜は水商売をしているそうだ。先週の夜、レナと道ですれ違った。しかし、レナから声をかけられるまで気づかないほど雰囲気が変わっていた。肌がやつれ、別人のようだった。 レナはお客を呼び込むため、外に出ていたらしく、俺を見つけると、ヒロシ、ねえお願い、一杯だけ飲んでいって。と腕を引っ張られた。が、俺、もう ATM じゃないんで。と俺は腕を引き離してやった。それと、もう他人なんで、呼び捨てにするのはやめてもらえますか。と言ってやると、レナはそれ以上何も言わなかった。俺は迎えに来てくれた釣り仲間の車に乗って、磯へと向かった。あそこまで落ちぶれたのも、自業自得だ。復讐を終えてすっきりした。そして何より、渡るの友情に感謝した。信じられる友人がいるだけで、俺は十分だ。もう過去には囚われずに、毎日を精一杯楽しみながら生きていこう。そうすれば、渡るみたいに、俺にも幸福の女神が微笑んでくれるかもしれない。